Yo, what's going on, Walten Falls fans, and welcome back to some crazy news about the release date for episode 5 and episode 6. So just as of today, it is day 63 on the daily Walten Falls updates Twitter page that we have just gotten that they have storyboarded some new scenes. However, there is something really big in terms of announcements that needs to be discussed, and that is when I was last live streaming on YouTube, we got a very interesting message in the live chat. So on some occasions, whenever I do stream Walten Falls, some of the Walten Falls team may pop in and have a little bit of a chat with the members of the stream and also myself. However, one very interesting comment came in from the one and only Eva, who is the voice of Bon. Now, this was really interesting because a lot of people have been wanting to know around when we can expect episode 5 and 6 to release. Me, personally, I was confident on the end of August, and, it is now October, so I've definitely gotten that, a tiny bit wrong. But for me, I definitely hold out hope for a 2025 release date. However, from this comment from Eva in the live chat, it is safe to say that it could be 2026 when we see the Walten Falls 5 and 6 actually release. So yeah, that is some crazy news when you actually think about it, that we could be waiting another 4 months for the Walten Falls 5 and 6, because as we know, they have finished storyboarding on episode 5 and now have begun doing episode 6, including, as Daily Walten Falls Update has said, that they have storyboarded day 63, 2 Walten scenes have finished storyboarding, which is very interesting. Now this is the next statement from Daily Walten Falls Updates that says, "We are exactly halfway through according to the script, and considering the script was just the remaining scenes, it's safe to say we're pretty much covering the last third of the episode." And then another person says, "How long is left?" As they replied with, 3 big scenes and the ending of season 1. We have them as 5 on the planification document, but you can argue 2 of those scenes count as their own big scene. Now that is very interesting, because 2 scenes that can be merged together as one big scene could only mean one thing. We either have something that happens between Jack and Felix being the scene, or another look at Bon. Now this is what I want to hear you guys in the comments below. I want to hear your opinions on what you think those big scenes could be about. Is it Felix and Jack? Is it where Jack goes missing? Is it the introduction of Sophie into season 2 with Jenny possibly? Maybe the start of Bunny Farm, or just before the episode 3 takes place? Is it something like that, or is it something completely different that no one's expecting? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below on that one. But continuing on, it is very interesting to note they are about 3 big scenes left along with the ending. So that's a very interesting thing. Now, this is the problem. If they were to release in 2026, how big are these scenes? And that is the next bit of news to say, because Eva has confirmed that episode 5 and 6 are going to be over 1 hour long. Well, longer than Bunny Farm, exactly. So basically around an hour for each episode, which is absolutely crazy. Now, I would assume it's most definitely 100% certain that episode 5 will be over an hour long, considering that's the one they finished storyboarding, then they'll have a rough idea how long it will be. Now, if episode 6 is a little bit shorter than Bunny Farm, yes, that's fair. However, I would still expect episode 6 to be around 45 to 50 minutes long at the least, in my opinion. Because with how long they're taking with this story, it is 100% confirmed in my mind that these are going to be full cinematic episodes that transform the look of horror series on YouTube. For me, I think we're getting a full Return of the Pumpkin Rabbit style in these episodes, and to me that is so exciting. And to those who may be a little bit disappointed about release dates, that's completely understandable because of how much we've actually had to wait. However, we know and we hold out hope that it is for definite that this wait will be worth it. I think we all know that is a given, that these episodes are going to deliver and give us so much more. As Kyle has also said on a previous live stream, from episode 4 alone, it is confirmed that you could probably put the pieces together to figure out who Bon is. So with episode 5 and 6, I think there's going to be at least 1 to 2 people who's going to figure out who Bon is after these next 2 episodes, or if the next 2 episodes actually is gonna give us a hint, like a really helping hand to figure out who Bon actually is. But to me, I'm very intrigued to see what these big scenes could be. I think it's a given that one of them is going to be Charles's death scene. I think that's a given. I think that's a guarantee, because I would like to think that that's a big scene in my mind. I would like to think that that scene has such a pivotal moment in terms of mystery in the series, because again, it's pretty much, other than Jack, the only death scene we have never seen. Yes, we get hints at it from Hotline and kind of little confirmations about what actually happened to Charles, but it's still most definitely the most ambiguous death of what actually goes on in the series, and it's never been fully hinted at or fully shown to what actually happens that night. So I think that the big scenes will definitely include Charles's death. That then necessarily means that there's two other scenes. Well, one is going to be a mixture of two scenes. So is that going to be the Charles death mixes in two scenes? Possibly. That could be the case. However, I do think that one of these scenes is going to be something to do with Felix. I think it makes enough sense to me that Felix will be involved in this in some way, shape, or form. And I feel like when it comes to episode 6, that's where Felix is going to be in the episode the most. I have a really big suspicion that the whole Beyond the Smiles, or Behind the Smiles, should I say, is definitely the reason why it's going to be delving into the more business side of Bob's Burgers and BSI. Therefore, Charles being a head engineer with Susan, I think would make sense that Charles is going to be the one delivering notes and notices to the higher-ups at BSI, to which Felix gets involved, which then leads to Bond. I think that's what this whole episode's going to be about, and in my opinion, I'm all for that. I am so excited to see what they could go with in that terms of that episode, and I think it's going to be very, very exciting to actually see what happens. But again, about the release date, do you think it's going to be 2026? Personally, I don't think so. I think it's going to be November, December. I'm still holding out hope for this year. I feel like they're going to get it done this year, especially because a recent tweet that just come out today about there being nothing being released on Halloween this year. And to me, if they can finish the entire Return of the Pumpkin Rabbit from October to the end of October last year, I fully believe that with this time to December, they could 100% finish 5 and 6, especially with 5 being fully storyboarded and 6 only being 3 or 4 scenes max needing to be storyboarded. Yes, they are long things to do, storyboarding scenes. However, I think the crew works at an efficient rate to get this done before the end of the year. Now, do I want them to rush it before the end of the year? No, not at all. I want them to take their time and make the series as perfect as possible, because I can already tell, I would imagine there's going to be a little bit of a break between episode 6 and then episode 7, which would be completely natural considering these 2 episodes are coming out a week apart from each other. Like, when you actually think about that in a way, a week apart from each other is absolutely insane, and this is what's going to happen with episode 5 and 6. We're going to get 2 hours of Walten Files within a week. Now, for anyone who's complaining about not getting enough content, there's your answer. You are getting 2 episodes of Walten Files, 2 hours of Walten Files within a week. So if that doesn't suffice for all the waiting, I don't know what possibly could. And also with After Hours as well, which somehow people have just almost forgotten about, Bob's Burgers After Hours is also being in development. That's probably going to come out next year as well. So when you actually think about it, you're going to get 2 hours of Walten Files lore and actual story, of canonical story and visuals. Then you're also going to get however many hours it takes to actually complete Bob's Burgers After Hours, which you'll probably get a demo and then obviously the full release. So you're going to have a demo which will come out fairly soon, I would imagine, and then obviously 5 and 6 hopefully at the end of the year, then Bob's Burgers After Hours full release. So you're going to have so much Walten Falls to deal with that's probably going to be overwhelming. Well, for me, most definitely. But I'm so pumped for what the future holds for Walten, and if you are excited, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let me know what you think those scenes are in the comments below. Let me know what you're most excited for when it comes to the Walten Falls. Is it episode 5? Is it episode 6? Is it After Hours? Or is it something else? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Well, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have enjoyed today's episode of Walten Falls Theories, and I hope you have enjoyed. If you like anything to do with horror on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We are so close to 8,000 subs, and if you could help us get here, we would greatly appreciate it. Stells is going into production. The Walten Falls film is going into production this week as it stands, so I really hope you all enjoy, and I can't wait to show you all the progress for that film. I will see you in the next one, and of course, stay safe and peace. First shot of this episode, Tammy picks this house.
Oh, what about that one?
Now, if you ask me, that is the, worst house you can pick. It has wallpaper on the outside. It has